So guys, in this video we will see the operators and directives, and we will see two directives, and that is align directive as well as the label directive. Operators are of many kinds that we will study, so we will put them on the next lectures. So first come towards the directives. So here is the align directive. What it does is it just aligns, right? It aligns the addresses to the given bound. We will give some bound, and all the addresses numbers will be aligned according to that number. So for understanding, see over here in the syntax part I am writing align keyword as it is, and then the bound. Suppose that any array, you can say the array element is at index, or you can say address 20. So if you write here align 2, it means the next element of the array will be at address 22, and another element will be at the address 24. There will be a gap of 2 numbers, which means that you have aligned it 2, which means you can say that you have aligned it according to the even numbers, even numbered addresses. If you want your program or your array to contain even numbered addresses, then you can write over here align 2. If you want a gap of 1, then you can write align 1. If you want the gap of 4, you can write align 4. But those bounds can be only these one, no other will be acceptable. Okay, so let's see the example to understand it better. If the address of a variable of size byte is this, then if you want to align 2, it means the next address will be +2, which means we have to add 2 over here in the least significant bit. It becomes 4. If we write align 4, it means it will add 4 to it, and the address will become this, right? I hope you have got this, because this is a very simple concept. You just have to remember these numbers. If you want your you can say your array to contain even numbered addresses, then you can write these bounds. Okay, so next come towards label directive, and this is not so pretty straightforward, so please pay concentration over here. So see over here, it provides an alternative name for the variable that is declared next in the data segment. Now, alternative name means any alias name or any other name for the same thing. So it provides alternative name for the variable that is declared next. Okay, the very next variable that we will have. So this the label will be that alias name for that variable that will be declared next in the data segment. So see the example, you can understand it only from there. In the below example, val16 is an alias for val32, so we can access val32 through val16 also. See here, inside our data segment part, where we usually do the declarations or initializations, here this is my actual declaration of or initialization of the variable. Like this is my variable name, that is val32 d word, and this is the initialization of this variable. But I want to use a label directive, right? So for that, we know that this label directive will give us the alias name for the variable that is declared next to the alias name. So here you can see my alias name is val16. This is the label keyword we have to write as it is, and here you don't have to write word all the time. You can write d word, byte according to your choice or your convenience. Why I'm writing word over here, you can see this while. But remember one thing, you don't have to do any initialization for the alternative name, or you can say the label directive, because this is just an alternative name, or it gives an alternative size for the variable that is declared next. Okay, so this val16 is an alternative name for val32, and this word that is 2 bytes is an alternative size for this val32 whose original size is D word, that is 4 bytes. Okay, it means that if this is an alternative name or like a nickname, then I can use I can access this val32 value through its alias name. Obviously this is obvious. So for that, what I want to do, I want to move, you can say only the, we know that this is a 4 byte, or in other words 32 bits number. Because of this D word, it is a 32 bit number, right? But I don't want to access this whole number, but I want only the lower part of this D word, and we know the lower part of D word is word, because this is a 4 bytes number and the lower half will be 2 bytes, and 2 bytes, we can get 2 bytes from word because it contains 2 bytes. So here you can see inside my code part, what I am doing, I am moving this alias name in AX. Now see, though I am moving this alias name, but still it doesn't mean that this variable is getting moved in AX, but it means that actually this variable, that is val32, is getting moved in AX. Why I'm using AX? Because we know that we have to use the same sizes in move instruction. This is 16-bit, this is also 16-bit. You have to take care of this thing. So because inside my this val16, or for my val16, I have declared the size as word, so I can move this only in AX, right? Suppose here I have written byte, then I can move this val16 only in AL. Okay, you have to take it for the sizes of both the destination and operand, destination and source operands. So when I have moved val16 in AX, this whole number will not be stored in AX. Why? Because this whole number is stored in val32, which is a 32-bit number, and I cannot move a 32-bit number in 16-bit register. I can only move 16-bit number in 16-bit register, right? But since this val16 is of type word, it is an alias for this variable. I am accessing this number through this variable, right? So because its type is word, it means that I can access two, you can say 2 bytes from this number. And after moving val16 AX, I am getting the lower part of EAX, or you can say the lower part of this D word in AX register. And lower part is what? This 5, 6, 7, 8 is the lower part, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the upper part. We know about A, H and AL in the previous lectures. So now inside my AX, what is getting stored? It is 5, 6, 7, 8. That is the lower half, that is the 2 bytes of this 4 byte number is getting stored in AX. But you can see that why 1, 2, 3, 4 is not getting stored and 5, 6, 7, 8 is getting stored is basically the reason is that this number gets stored in memory in reverse order. This is the storage format, because memory is only byte addressable, right? So these types like D word, word, they get stored in the opposite, or you can say in the reverse order. So firstly, inside our memory, this 5, 6, 7, 8 gets stored, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 get stored, okay, in the reverse order. So if I want to move the lower part, that is the 16 bits of this number in AX, then it will be this lower half. Okay, this lower half gets stored in AX, and the upper part is still, or you can say the whole number is still in the val32, right? So by this statement, I have gotten the half part of this val32 in my AX register. Okay, and suppose I also want to access this other upper part also in some other register. So inside my DX, that is also 16-bit register, what I am doing, I am saying val16 plus 2. What does this 2 indicate? See, the type for 16 is word, that is each number is containing 2 bytes to store data. This is containing 2 bytes to store data. This is containing 2 bytes to store data. right? On the whole it becomes 4-byte number, but I have gotten this number already. Now I want to access this another part of this variable, upper part, right? So for that, what I have to do, we have to add +2. If we add +2 in val 16, because val 16 is already this part, right? If I add +2 over here, it means that it will jump to this upper part, 1 2 3 4. Okay, because of the word type, it will jump to this part. And I hope you have gotten this concept already from your high level languages, that suppose an integer, in typical compilers it takes 4 bytes or 2 bytes size. So in order to access the next integer, you have to move, you have to add +4, or in some compilers +2, right? So it is the same case over here. In order to access this upper part or higher part, you have to add +2. And these parentheses are not compulsory, but you can use them to move that the value at this particular upper address to dx. This 1 2 3 4 moves to dx, and dx contains 1 2 3 4 h. This h basically represents that this is a hexadecimal number, not any decimal number. Okay, so I hope that you have gotten how to basically use this label keyword. We will see one more example. So see over here, what I am doing in data part, I am doing some declaration of DUP operator. If you don't know what is this, then you have to see the previous lectures where I have to explain this with help of examples, and so you can get it better. So this is my name of the variable, this is my type, this is my size, this is my DUP, and this is my initialization list, and this is my another initialization number. So through this example, through this statement, what I have to do, I have to insert, this is my problem, that I have to insert a label directive that permits my words, that is the name of the variable, to move to a 32-bit register. It is basically saying us that we have to move this my words number, that is this 16-bit number, into 32-bit register. And we know that move instruction requires both the operands of the same size. That how can we do this? We can do this with the help of the label directive. We have to use an alias name for this my word. You can take any name as an alias name. Above the declaration of this my words, you can declare the alias name, and you have to write the label keyword as it is, and then the type that we want to move. So in this example, you see that we have to move to a 32-bit number, which means we have to use the type as dword in our label statement, right? So what we will write? We will write as, this is my name of the variable, alias name for this my words. So it means that in order to access my these numbers or this statement, I can use this variable one name also. Then we have to use the label keyword, and the type would be dword in this case. If we had to move it to, suppose, an 8-bit register, then what we have to do, we have to write byte over here, right? So we have seen this, that the move instruction requires both operands of the same size, but we can move the small size operand to a larger one by label directive, right? This is what we are basically doing. We are moving the 16-bit, that is the smaller number, into a larger destination, right? So now, since I have used this dword over here, it doesn't matter now that its original type was word, right? Now it is dword. The type for this is also somehow dword, because although its own type is word, but by this variable one I can access its elements, and its type will be dword. And we know that dword takes EAX register to store the data. Word requires AX register. So now I have to move it into EAX register. I cannot use AX because this, you can say, type, data type matters in the move instruction. Okay, this is dword, so I have to move into EAX register, and I have to move this alias name. Okay, so this where 1 is the alias for my words variable, right? So in this way, these all the elements will be copied into or stored into the EAX register. And if you don't know why I am marking this with this question mark and this 3 etc., then you please see the DUP operator video. So I hope you have gotten how to use the label directive and align directive in your code. So this is it for this video. Thank you.